Good morning, gentlemen. Welcome, delegates, to the First Continental Congress. Please take a look at the exterior view of Carpenter's Hall, located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Look around at the interior view. Today, on September 5th, we will be meeting in this room through October 26th in the year of 1774. The agenda for today's First Continental Congress is we would like to welcome all 56 delegates from 12 colonies. Georgia is not available today. To many colonists, the closing of Boston Harbor was the final insult in the long list of abuses. In response to the mounting crisis, all colonies except Georgia sent representatives to a meeting in October 1774. This meeting is known today as the First Continental Congress, where we have gathered as colonial leaders who are deeply troubled about the relationship between Great Britain and in its colonies in America. Today at Carpenter's Hall in Philadelphia, us leaders, we will remain locked in weeks of intense debate. Patrick Henry and others believe that violence is unavoidable. On the other hand, delegates from Pennsylvania and New York had strict orders to seek peace. Wisely, us delegates will compromise. We will encourage colonists to continue boycotting British goods, but tell colonial militia to prepare for war. Meanwhile, we will draft the Declaration of Independence, a list of 10 resolutions to be presented to King George III. We will include the colonists' right to life, liberty, and property. Today at the First Continental Congress, we are not seeking a separation from Britain. Our goal is to state the colonists' concerns and ask the king to correct the problem. But before we leave Philadelphia, the delegates, we will agree to meet again in 1775 if the king refuses our petition. Patrick Henry will return from Congress and report to the fellow Virginians. He will encourage them to support the patriot cause. In the meantime, many colonists will come to agree with Henry. They became known as patriots, colonists who choose to fight for independence in Great Britain. Our next meeting and our last point on our agenda, number 8, is we will meet in May 1775 if Parliament still has not addressed our grievances. You are dismissed. Turn the page. Welcome, gentlemen, delegates to the Second Continental Congress. Here we are meeting today in Independence Hall in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Please take a look at the exterior view and the interior view of our meeting location on May 10th, 1775. Welcome back, delegates. King George has refused to address the concerns listed in the Declaration of Independence, or the Declaration of Rights. On May 17th, today, delegates from 12 colonies have met in Philadelphia for this Second Continental Congress. We are not unified today, but represent the first attempt at a Republican government in the colonies. We'd like to welcome back some delegates, notable newcomers, Ben Franklin of Pennsylvania, John Adams of Massachusetts. Some of the delegates called for war. Some of the delegates called for peace. Once they compromised, although the Congress did not openly revolt, delegates showed their growing satisfaction. We will see that Thomas Jefferson of Virginia will arrive in a few weeks. We will discuss the events occurring at Lexington and Concord. At dawn on April 19, 1775, the British troops arrived at the town of Lexington near Concord, where 70 armed Minutemen waited. Patriot Captain John Parker yelled to his troops, "Don't fire unless fired upon." Suddenly a shot rang out. To this day, no one knows who fired this shot heard round the world. The Battle of Lexington ended in minutes, with only a few volleys fired. When the smoke cleared, 8 of the badly outnumbered Minutemen lay dead and 10 were wounded. The British were only 1 soldier wounded, marched on to Concord. Although Revere had been arrested, the citizens of Concord were warned by another rider, Samuel Prescott. Most of the weapons in Concord had already been hidden, but the few that were left were now concealed. Minutemen successfully had driven the Redcoats back to Boston. Some of the British troops were frustrated because the stockpile had disappeared, set fire to a few buildings. In reaction, the Minutemen charged forward. Today, we must congratulate the Massachusetts militia for the only 93 Patriot casualties and the 270 British casualties. Today, we'll be discussing the Continental Army. All delegates will vote yes or no. The Continental Army will be a force that would soon include soldiers from all colonies and would carry out the fight against Britain. Congress has named Virginian George Washington to be the commanding general of this army. As Washington prepares for war, Congress has pursued peace. On July 5th, the delegates signed the Olive Branch Petition, drafted by Thomas Jefferson as a final attempt to restore harmony. King George refused to read it. Instead, he looked for new ways to punish the colonies. This was the last attempt of peaceful resolution. Therefore, today, delegates at the Second Continental Congress, we will begin drafting, led by Thomas Jefferson, the Declaration of Independence.